Do you know how to listen to music? No, I mean like really listen to music. Maybe you do know how to really listen to music, but then again, maybe you watch this and you find out that you actually don't. Before we get started, I've got one question for you, and that is, what is your favorite song to listen to? The one that inspires you, the one that makes you feel creative? Put it in the comment section below. Let's start a conversation. When I first enrolled in music college, I had no clue how much of my time I would spend just listening to music, and I had no clue how little I knew about listening to music. I thought it was gonna be a party all day. I thought I was gonna go in there and get to play drums 24/7. But much to my dismay at the time, I was put in classes like dictation, sight singing, music theory, music history, jazz history. We spent hours listening. The one professor that taught me how to listen and how to appreciate music at its highest level was actually teaching a class that I was dreading taking. The class was music history. It came with a book about this thick, about 82 CDs, and went all the way from Gregorian chant to modern times. You literally sat there every day, listened, and dissected what was being played. But this professor, he was different. He viewed listening to music as like this full contact sport. He would play something and then he would say, "Do you hear it? Do you hear what the violins are playing?" And then he'd run over to the piano and he would pick out what they're playing and he'd say, "Do you hear it?" And then he'd run over and he would play it on another instrument, and he would be so obsessed with you hearing what was going on in the music. Why were they playing what they were playing? How did it affect everything else around them? How did it affect the mood of the piece? How was that used in later times? What were their influences? He went through it all. I thought the guy was crazy, and it came out to be one of my favorite classes because of the way he taught it. I have never in my life had someone want me to hear music as clearly as he wanted us to hear it. That's all great, but what exactly am I talking about? How can you improve your listening skills? Pick any song you want, one that inspires you, because we're going to be listening to it a lot. Find a quiet place, bring a notebook, bring a pen, get a pair of headphones, and put that song on. And on the first listen, I just want you to listen to the overall piece. Absorb the music as a whole. Now for the second listen, I want you to pick an instrument. If you're listening to a classical piece, this will mean that you're listening to it a lot because there's a lot of different sections to an orchestra. There's a lot of different instruments. If you're listening to a quartet, it's a little bit simpler. But pick an instrument, and I want you to focus on that instrument the next time you listen through. Ignore everything else, just focus on what that instrument is playing. Listen again, but this time just listen to the tone that they're playing, their intonation. Then listen again, but this time listen for that instrument's phrasing. How do they phrase the melody? If there's a solo with that instrument, listen again. Listen just to the solo. Are they busier? Are they maybe slower and more melodic, like maybe a Miles? What rhythms are they using in the solo? Are they referring back to the melody? Are they playing ahead of or behind the beat? What effect does that have on the song? What are the scales that they're using? What are the modes that they're using? And then give it one more listen, but this time, listen to when they're not playing. Listen to the white space. Think about what effect that has on the song when you're listening to it. What does it bring to the music or take away from the music when they're not involved? As a drummer, I have no problem listening to just the drums. When I hear a song, that's the first thing my ear goes to. I'm listening to what the drummer is doing, and I miss so much more that's going on inside the music. But if you are a drummer, have you ever listened to a song and just listened to the hi-hat? Ignored everything else in the song and just listened to how they were playing the hi-hat? Or maybe just listen to the kick drum one time through. Go through and listen to just what they're doing on the snare. How do they approach the ghost notes? Are they hitting rim shots? Dissect smaller patterns that they're doing. Do they come back to those? Maybe that's part of that drummer's vocabulary. See, this is called critical listening. All too often, we're fed that more and more and more is better. But the majority of the time, less and less and more focus is much better. YouTube is great because it gives us access to like every song ever. But YouTube also sucks because it gives us access to like every song ever. So we're bombarded with too much music and we never just hone in and listen. Like gone are the days where you saved your money and you went and bought an album and you brought it home and then you listened to it over and over and over. That's what I want you to do. That's really listening to music on a higher level. I hope these couple of tips help you listen to music no matter what your instrument on a deeper level, the same way that my teacher taught me how to listen to music. If you dig this video and it helped open your ears, click that thumbs up button and maybe share it with somebody that you think it might help as well. If you're a drummer and you want to take your playing to that next level, sign up for a membership on the website. The link's below this video. Be sure and sign up to get your free download of 30 Days to Better Doubles. Tune in here Mondays, Wednesdays, and Sundays for new uploads. But regardless of what you do, I'll see you here in the next video.